Hey, it's Keith from Cruachan here. Just boozy chat and we'll have a few drinks, have a few laughs, so make sure you join in and come along for the crack. See you then. Hello, everybody. I am Keith May, and I'm an alcoholic. How are you guys doing?
Good, and you?
Super.
Super. Yeah, with this weather and this situation.
Yeah, well, the situation sucks. The weather's been amazing. It's just so typical. Ireland goes into lockdown when we get the best weather the country's had in a long time. Although it's made it a bit easier to deal with. All the garden parties, the drinking in the garden,
barbecues,
the garden, drunken barbecues in the garden, drunken everything in the garden.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Cheers, everyone. Whoever's anyone's drinking.
Cheers.
Sláinte.
Sláinte.
This is a delicious.
Cheers. Yeah, my aspirin.
Yeah, dissolved paracetamol.
Yamas.
Yeah, exactly.
Greek mythos.
I'm just sick of beer, so I needed a break. Change some nice red wine, which is delicious.
I'm so jealous. So let's go back to Cruachan. So you formed Cruachan in the 90s. So it's a bit around, and you've been the longest member since then. What challenges are you facing, and how you are dealing with them?
Yeah, I mean, I was a kid, literally a kid. I was 14 when I wrote Two in the Gale, our first album. I was 15 when that album was released. So that whole folk metal thing that we started back then, as I say in interviews a lot, could only be the mind of a child or a kid that would actually think this is going to work. We've faced so many challenges. We'd be here all night talking about them. We've had crazy stories with record labels going bankrupt before they paid for studio costs, this kind of thing. Today, and for the last, say, 5 to 10 years, it's been our best period. Like we've had a major kind of comeback, resurgence, you name it. So we're not really seeing any challenges. We're all full-time employed people. We do Cruachan as it suits us and when it suits us. So we've never faced any of the challenges that a lot of bands have, especially bands that live off their music. That's how they earn their living, how they earn their accommodation, their bread and butter. We don't have that problem. We purely do Cruachan for the love of the music, and it's clear we love what we do. So yeah, there's no real challenges. Well, that's not true. Obviously, like we've turned down European tours. We've turned down last year we turned down a tour of Europe supporting Ailstorm. Last year we turned down a tour of North America supporting Arcona. I mean, that sucks. It's not so much a challenge, but it just sucks that we can't do that because we all have regular day jobs. The most we can tour is like a week to 2 weeks. But it's not exactly a challenge. We still get to do what we enjoy, you know?
But I think like now during the COVID situation, you are not so hit hard because you have like a day job. So,
yeah. And everyone in the band is pretty much the same. Not all, some more than others. I'm not going to mention names, but one of us just mentioned yesterday, he's actually starting to see COVID-19 is affecting his day-to-day business. And with the music as well, we were, we were scheduled to record our new single for Despot's record. We have everything ready to go. They're right behind it. And then boom, just cancelled. We have to postpone the recording. Songwriting is affected. Festivals are being cancelled all over the place. So yeah, musically, we're definitely being affected by the virus.
Yeah, and you mentioned you have a day job. So what exactly are you doing when you are not in Cruachan?
I work as a business continuity consultant. So I've worked in IT all my life. As a sysadmin, a network engineer, as a Windows engineer, you name it. But the last 3 years, I've moved into a different kind of area. It's still connected to IT, but it's funny. Pandemic planning is actually part of my remit. It's what I do for my company. So my company has nearly 17,000 employees, and I'm there to ensure that our software, the products we offer, we can keep them going if bad things happen to an office block, to key employees. So if a storm hits one part of our business, another part will take it up. So it's called business continuity or production assurance, that type of thing. It's as boring as it sounds.
But it's now during the pandemic, it's gold. Like it's no
Yeah,
big.
yeah. It's kind of funny. Like I worked on pandemic plans, and you're always thinking, this is never going to be used. We're never going to have a pandemic, and then boom, here's one in our lifetime, which is kind of insane.
Yeah, and you're the person. I have a plan.
Yeah, good. So Keith, if you had the option to add one more person for in Cruachan, what instrument you would would you like to have in Cruachan?
I mean, when we record, we pretty much have any instrument we want. We get guests in. We can all play a lot of instruments.
Mm-hmm.
So it would purely be for live. So I would not want another member. Now, if I could pick any instrument, I'm guessing it'd be a piper, and the Irish uilleann pipes. They're my favorite instrument. But again, I wouldn't want it full time on every single song. The great thing about violins and what John Ryan does, he plays violin, he plays cello. He's almost like a one-man orchestra in the band when we record, so it's great. Whereas if we had an uilleann piper, it's like, oh, fucking uilleann pipes again on this song, So I wouldn't be into having a full-time piper. That's why a lot of folk metal bands, their folk musician plays a lot of different instruments.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good one.
So your band, Cruachan, incorporates pagan and Celtic elements in your music. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, so from the time we started, when I was a kid, I was really into Celtic history, Celtic mythology, and that's what that was the whole ethos of the band. We'll just completely sing about Celtic mythology, the Tain sagas, all this kind of thing, Fionn McCool, because it's what I was passionate about. As the years went on, a bit of actual Irish history crept in. I sing a lot about Irish history, and because we're metal and I'm very interested in religion, I sing a lot of anti-religion songs. Well, not a lot. You'll find one or two throughout our history. And as the band started, way back before we were called Cruachan, we were called Minas Tirith, and we sang exclusively about Lord of the Rings. That's never gone away. You'll find Lord of the Rings songs on pretty much every album. Not every album, almost every album. And we even had the famous Lord of the Rings artist John Howe paint the pagan album cover for us, which was pretty epic. As a Lord of the Rings fan, that was mind-blowing. The guy that designed the orcs in the movies painted the Cruachan album cover. That was, for me, was just out of this world.
And to get it like clear in one sentence, how did it like happen that you switched from Lord of the Rings and black to like folk, pagan, and what Cruachan is nowadays?
The music was kind of the same with Minas Tirith. We were very progressive. I mean, I'm saying we were very progressive. I was fucking 14. Fucking progressive 14. What? But the music was quite progressive. It wasn't your standard black metal or death metal or thrash metal. But I was just so into Irish folk music. It was, I can't even remember how I got into it. It was like something clicked in my head, and I really got into it. And I remember back at that age, as a 14-year-old going on 15, thinking folk music only exists in Ireland. That's how young and naive I was. Folk music is only Irish. And when I heard other people talking about folk music, I just thought they meant Irish folk music. I'm like, what? Your country has folk music? I was a kid. I didn't get it. But yeah, it really influenced me, and I just thought this would be a great thing to incorporate into metal. I'd already listened to Skyclad's first album, and they had a song on that called The Widdershins Jig. Now, that whole album is a thrash album, except for that song. And I thought, that's really cool. I'd like to take that further. I was listening to Battery at this time, and they had a lot of folky stuff going on. And I was a big Iron Maiden fan. You listen to all the early Iron Maiden albums, half of the licks that they're doing on guitar, you play that on a violin, it's a folk tune. So I just thought, fuck it, this is where I'm going. Folk music is the way to go.
And that's how the name changed to Cruachan?
Yeah, so I was into the music as well as Irish history and mythology, so we needed a name that wasn't Minas Tirith. So we looked around. It was actually my brother John came up with the name Cruachan. He said it means this. It's like it's the Celtic entrance to Tir na Nog. And when Christianity came to Ireland, when they were attempting to convert the pagans into Christianity, they said, no, that cave of Cruachan, it's not the entrance to Tir na Nog, it's the entrance to hell. Repent, convert, become a Christian.
That's like a really interesting history, like how it all saved and with name.
There you go. And one mistake, we should have put a fada over the A. So it should be Cruach. Am I spelling my band's name right? I don't know, but AN at the end should have a fada. So that's why it has that on sound. The fada over an A in Irish gives a haw, but we never put that in because we were stupid. 14. I just keep saying I was 14.
Yeah, you were a kid. So
the pronunciation is Cruachan.
No, it's a proper CH, Cruachan. It's a hard CH. Now, we've heard people mention, like when we go to Russia, people say Cruachan.
Yeah.
I give up.
France?
In France, croissant.
Yes. Croissant, yeah.
I think that's hilarious. And every time I see that in interviews or on Facebook, it annoys me. It's like, it doesn't fucking sound like croissant. What can you do?
With chocolate. Good one. So, Keith, what inspires you to write lyrics? You have to be in, in a special mood?
No. Necessity is what inspires me. I know that sucks. It's not a rock and roll answer at all. When I was younger and so just committed and devoted to this music and everything to do with it, I was absorbed and I was so passionate. As you get older, like I'm in my 40s now, and you become a little bit more cynical. I do like writing lyrics, and I think I write some damn good lyrics, especially on the new album. But yeah, the inspiration is I have to do this. I mean, that's not fair. Okay, come on, look. The new album, I'm enjoying the lyrics that I wrote. It's different to what we've done before. The last album, 9 Years of Blood, was a concept album, so I was forced. I think I've become a bit cynical because of that. I had to write specific songs in certain orders, and all had to come together. It was an absolute pain in the hole. So I think that's why I'm sounding a little more cynical than I should. The new album I wrote, I'm again writing whatever I want, but there is a theme on the new album. It's looking at kind of the pagan kind of 1700s in Ireland. There were staunch Christians. There was a mostly Christian Catholic population, but under, the famous saying is, you scratch the bedrock of Christianity in Ireland, you come to the immediate pagan bedrock. And that's what I'm getting at in the new lyrics. They go to church, they're very Christian, there's suffering, there's famines, but there's so many traditions and customs that are hundreds and hundreds of years old from the pagan ways. And that's what I'm capturing in the new album. I can't wait for people to read them. A lot of sad lyrics as well, and a lot of criticism of the modern Catholic Church. I mentioned the Tuam babies in a roundabout way. Even though it's set in the 1700s in history, I still get a reference and a dig into what the Catholic Church did in Tuam and how they oppressed and basically raped the population of Ireland. So it's all good fun, Very jolly, very happy album it will be.
And as you speak about the new album, will be a delay for sure for the album, man.
Yeah, I mean, we're still writing. We expected all the writing to have been completed. And a lot of people are finding huge inspiration during COVID-19 and they're writing lots of shit at home. We can't really work that way. We need to collaborate, work together, get into a studio, see what works, see what doesn't work. I found I'm writing lots of riffs and putting together. I'm up to 2 or 3 songs. I'm speaking to the guys. We got to rehearse this. And even I'm saying, okay, I need to cut off here until we can get back and collaborate properly. So yeah, definitely the new album has been affected. We don't know what the timeline is, but we know we will have a single released very soon. We're going to have a video release, single release, you name it. And we just need to find some time in the coming weeks to get into studio and record it. So we will have some new material very soon, but the album is kind of to be confirmed a date.
Do you have any special guests for the new album?
We do. We've got a really amazing Irish singer-songwriter, Nella. She's fantastic. She has an amazing voice, and she sang with Video Games Live. She toured China, and she's on the World of Warcraft soundtrack. She's just incredible. Now, she's a folk singer, kind of pop/folk. She's getting more into folk stuff now, but she is fantastic. We've also got Kim Dilla, the former Gwar vocalist. She's again going to sing a song with us, but like we've become very close to Kim from she sang with us on 70,000 Tons of Metal, and she's just a cool person to hang out with, and also a fantastic vocalist. So it just made sense. Kim will be singing on that single that I spoke about. So yeah, can't wait to get that out. We've also got some. Oh God, we've a guest bagpipe. We always have a few musicians that come in, but we've got a piper in the US that's going to help us. Oh shit, there's one or two others I can't remember, and I hope they're not watching because that's so fucking insulting. But I've just gone blank.
No problem. Good stuff.
So back to the folk aspect. So you've been around like for 30 years. So can you tell us how folk metal shaped around you?
Well, I mean, that's an interesting and controversial question. I mean, there's always the argument who came first, Cruachan or Skyclad and that type of thing. And Skyclad did release their album before us. But as I always say, it's a trash album with one song. Anyway, not getting into that. Skyclad are a big, huge influence on me personally, and they're the greatest bunch of people. They've become really good friends of Cruachan. But yeah, when we started, we were ridiculed, we were laughed at. All the magazines, when we released that first album, they just found it ridiculous. The Irish scene in early 90s, like 93, 94, 95, when we were coming out, the demo came out, the album came out in 95. They just thought we were a complete joke. It was like, what is this bullshit? It's so unpure. You can't do this to metal, especially because the music we did with the first album was mostly black metal. So we were just ridiculed. It was a joke. And we still never lost that stigma with a lot of people around our same age that are still involved in the scene. They still see Cruachan as like, fuck Cruachan. But yet they look at what we're doing worldwide and kind of go, oh shit, Cruachan actually made it and we're fucking nobodies. But yeah, it was tough. Definitely was tough in Ireland. That's why I think we focus so much outside Ireland. That's why our fan base grew in South America, in Eastern Europe, you name it. We didn't really care too much about Ireland. But as I mentioned previously, when we had that kind of resurgence that started about 10 years ago with the Trilogy of Blood, suddenly we had a lot of respect in Ireland. Cruachan are a band to be taken serious and like, holy shit, like, and they're like, go Cruachan flying the flag for Irish metal. I'm like, yeah, fuck, have you seen 25 years ago when we were laughed at compared to now? So yeah, it definitely was tough back in the early days. But, you know, at the end of the day, fuck it. You do music because you love it. And if other people like it too, that's a bonus.
And can you tell us how the attitude changed? Is it because Cruachan developed through the years, or the audience just changed here in Ireland?
I honestly don't know. I guess the audience did change. Folk metal became huge, especially in the noughties. Folk metal exploded, and I mean, it was almost its own genre, right up there with thrash metal, death metal. Folk metal was right there with that. So as we're classed as one of the creators, there was a bit of respect there. But I think it was an age thing. The younger people coming up that enjoyed folk metal kind of went, oh shit, like there's a band in Ireland that are one of the creators of this genre. Holy crap, who knew? So it could be that. I don't know. I don't really know.
I think it could be like folk metal is coming up like these days. It's getting more popular. Like I'm amazed by new folk metal and so on. Like it's getting big and big. And
exactly. And you know, I'd almost say, without meaning to sound like I have an ego or a sense of entitlement, like we should be respected. We were the first, one of the first. I mean, that's up for argument, but we were one of the first. We helped create that genre. So people in Ireland should be like, wow, fuck, Cruachan, thanks for creating a genre. So yeah, and I would say that without ego. I know that sounds like, what the fuck are you talking about? But I personally think, and I know we've achieved something, and that a lot of bands haven't. So I'm very proud of that fact.
Yeah, for me, it's like, I think it's a true statement. If you look when Cruachan started, it's like in the 90s, I think it's when it's developed. So it's like a statement that could be made.
1993, that's when we began.
Cool.
So if you wouldn't be in Cruachan, in which band would you like to be part?
Oh, I mean, there's so many answers to that, isn't there? But there's one band that I really love. So in the last few years, my biggest passion is classical music, and that's what I listen to 90% of the time. I just love classical music. It speaks to me. It has just so many emotions, and you can hear on definitely the last two Cruachan albums, there's a lot of classical music influence on there. And one band I've been just so envious of over the last 10 or 15 years is Terion. And I love them. I love Terion. And like their metal, the heavy metal side of stuff is so basic. It's like, holy shit, like I can do that. I can do that better than you can do that. But the choirs, the orchestras, oh man, I just love it. I would love to play in Terion. And I've met Terion on tour. Just beautiful, down to earth guys, like really, really cool people. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Terion or
Nice.
Therion, if I
Therion, yeah. I think one of the
Therion.
guys used to live in Ireland. I think one of the guys.
I think the Argentinian guitarist, I think.
I think, yes.
I don't know.
Yeah. So, as you said, you like classical music. Why would you think to make like Cruachan symphonic orchestra something?
Well, we already have like the last album. There's a lot of symphonic stuff on there.
I mean live.
Oh, live. Yeah, that's always something we've discussed. So, I mean, I like when bands have their backing tracks, and basically it's like I'm listening to a CD on stage. It's hard to tell the difference. Sometimes it's so close to the CD, but then I'm thinking I could just listen to the CD. When I see a band live, I want to feel that live experience as well. So we've had great debates in Cruachan. Shall we get the backing tracks, go onto the computer and present our songs as close to what we hear on the albums, or should we play it as real as it can be, just one violin, two guitars, bass and drums? It's a debate that we're still having, but for the time being, we're keeping it as real as can be, and we're playing just like a real live band. If you want to hear that CD perfection, just listen to the fucking CD. If you want to hear Cruachan live with our imperfections, come see us live.
Cool.
So, Keith, you're playing a lot of instruments: guitars, keyboards, bodhrán, mandolin, percussion, and bouzouki. So, which one is your favorite and why?
I guess electric guitar. It has to be. That's my thing, my axe. But I love playing the bodhrán, the Irish goatskin drum, and it's such a unique instrument. I keep seeing all these Viking bands like Wardruna and others, and they have a bodhrán. Okay, it's probably the Scandinavian version, but it's a skin drum, it's a tension drum, and they're just like bong, bong, bong. And like, shit, guys, that sucks. Because a bodhrán has got skill. You play it with a picking, a beater, and like and I only really hear that in Irish folk music, and I love playing the bodhrán. If I had one here, it's hidden behind my windows and shit. I'd actually give you a quick demonstration on like Wardruna boom, boom, versus an Irish bodhrán. I love it. Yeah, I love playing the bodhrán, but yeah, guitar is definitely my instrument. I'm an axe man.
Interesting. So, do you have like an instrument that you can play for us now?
I've got my acoustic there. If you want to have a listen.
Yes. Great. That would be great. Thank you.
Let me see. I'll play a bit of a new song if I can remember it. How the sound is. Can you hear it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let me think. No. I need to remember the chords. In darkest night, in witching night, among the hot torno, when the moon has come to earth, the shepherd I played wrong chords. Anyway, that's enough. I'm more nervous now.
Yes, than the concert.
Yeah, it's like a new experience. I see also like other artists like getting nervous with live streams and stuff. It's crazy that it's like different than a gig, and they're like,
it's insane. And I used to do karaoke competitions in my local pub, And I'd be getting ready to go on, and my heart is like, oh my guys, I can't. There's only about 20 people, all people that I know. And a lot of people say that's what it is. These aren't your fans. They're just people that will go, oh, look at that fucking idiot singing Johnny Cash. But yeah, karaoke, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna faint. With Cruachan, 10,000 people, no problem. Hey guys, whoa, no fucking problem at all.
Yeah. Different vibes, yeah, with big crowds. So we spoke about favorite instruments. What is your favorite album, Keith, or song?
In the entire world?
Oh, no, from Cruachan.
I'm always going to say my favorite album is 9 Years of Blood. I think we achieved so much on that, and it was just such a big album. I mean, we don't have the levels that you hear in Terion with the orchestras and the choirs, but I remember at one point we checked the amount of tracks we used on some of the songs, and it was 400 tracks, 500 tracks. Like one track is like electric guitar, one track. There's layers of electric, but then, you know, a sound effect like reverb has its own track for that, and then reverb is on this another track. That's why we built up so much, but so much went into that album. I'm so happy with it. My favorite song, I keep going back to Diarmid and Grania. Jesus, is that on Folklore or is it on the Morgan's Call? I can't remember, but I'm so proud of that song. When people say like, what is a folk metal song? It's the one song I point them towards. It's got O'Neill's March. Is it O'Neill's March? Fuck, I can't remember, but it goes. It's a real famous Irish traditional tune. And I think we worked it in so well. We used barons, dun, 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 dun. Based off the Chieftains did a version of it. Now this is a really, really old Irish tune from the 1700s. It was used. I can't remember the history. I've gone blank, but it was a battle march that was played on pipes as the warriors went into battle. And we used that actual tune. The Chieftains did it, and we took the influence from the Chieftains. If you watch the movie Robber Eye with Liam Neeson, you'll hear that tune, bum 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 bum. And we did the very same. It starts off with baron, then the heavy guitars, jin 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 jin. I fucking think it's great. I think it is my favorite Cruachan song. But the more I think about it, I'll probably pick another one tomorrow. You know how it is.
Good.
So we talked about a lot of instruments that you play. So during gigs you play the guitar and you sing. And how do you divide then your attention between the instrument, singing, and the crowd?
Oh, it's tough. You know, I'm so fucking envious of just a lead singer. Like when I'm on stage without an instrument, I'm that guy. Like, fucking Bruce Dickinson, Scream for Me, Dublin. I'm fucking all over the place, but I can't do that with the guitar. I'm stuck to the microphone, and and so many times, like I just get caught up in the music, and I'll just stop playing the guitar, and I'll fucking like this, and feedback from the guitar, and oh shit, yeah, I meant to keep playing the fucking guitar. But yeah, it's tough. But what can you do? I'm the guitarist and vocalist. I mean, I love it as well. I think it's a really cool thing to be a guitarist and vocalist as opposed to a vocalist. But I do get quite envious of just vocalists and being able to run around and interact with fans and like posing and like all the sexy stuff. I just dabbed, like, whereas my kids would love that.
I imagine it's like hard when you're playing the guitar, singing, you get lost. And that's the reason we came up with this question.
Yeah, and you know, you're dead right. There's some parts in Cruachan that are really, really technical. And like there's definitely 2 or 3 songs where I have to simplify. And sometimes it's just a tricky melody, not melody, but just a rhythm. That's what I'm doing on the guitar. And to sing whatever the verse, it's just fucking impossible. It's like a Tetris puzzle. I can't physically play this. So Kieran might do that rhythm, and I'll just do a simple jin, 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 jin. You're talking most basic stuff. I can play almost guitar solos and sing over them, but it's that kind of rhythmic, and then to sing over that. I find that sometimes it's a little bit tricky, and we cover it up. Kieran will always cover it, and you'll hear it live, and I'm still playing like a basic thing. And again, that's only on 1 or 2 parts in songs. And I'll tell you, I was actually going to say, I'm not going to tell you which songs, but I will tell. For anyone listening, just check out when we do the Sea Queen of Connacht. when I'm singing that, I have to kind of just do a basic little chug, gin, gin. It's like I'm learning my first guitar type of thing. So yeah, listen out for that at the next gig and laugh if you so desire.
I will do that. Like the next gig you are live, I will have a look and see which song you are live.
Everyone will be like,
yes.
Yeah.
When is the next gig? Is like summer, September? Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I don't fucking know.
I know.
So
because we speak about live, so maybe do you think if you cannot do the live, like you can do maybe live stream?
Oh, I fucking hate them. I hate them. Like I've watched some of the live stream concerts, and it's just like it's all that we have, you know. And I respect what people are doing, but it's billed as a festival, but it's like a guy is just at home recording himself on his laptop. Oh man, it's except for the guys that actually go to a stage and they do a full performance with no crowd. That's fucking brilliant. Can we just do more of that?
That's very good. That's very good. Yeah.
Yeah, but we still have one festival that's not cancelled in September in August in Germany. Wolfsite. Apparently it's still going ahead, so let's see what happens. As for the Dublin festival, the Cruachan, man, we were so fucking excited about that. That was going to be an awesome weekend, and then fuck this virus, like. So that's still scheduled for the end of September. I spoke to the guys in the Grand Social. We were looking at rescheduling, but he's going to keep it there. He said, let's get a new date, probably January. Let's get a new date. Let's keep that fucking date. And who knows what the future holds? Who knows what's going to happen in 4 weeks and 6 weeks? And, you know, if it gets to the point where like 2 weeks before the date in September, we're told, yeah, we can have gatherings. We can allow 200 people in a pub. And we've only got two weeks to sell tickets. And people are okay to buy tickets. The government has said it's okay. That will sell out like that. People are desperate. And if it's safe, and if we're obeying all the rules, and for safety first, of course. But if we get out of this, we'll sell those tickets 100 times over because people will be desperate for live shows. So we're keeping the date there, but also have the contingency. As I say, I work at disaster recovery and contingency, so we have a contingency to move it into January if we need to.
Yeah, but I mean, with the measures, social distancing, you know, how many people can accept, you know.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm hypothesizing that will all be gone in my brain. But yeah, realistically, they're saying this is here for the next 2 years and this kind of shit. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, if we're social distancing in August, we'll be social distancing in February next year, realistically. And beyond, you know, fuck that virus. It's a pain in the ass.
Yes. We miss a lot of festivals this summer.
Gary, will you pass me my wine, please? Thank you. I have my assistant here. Hello, the lovely Gary. Gary, come and say hello to the peoples.
Hello, Gary.
Hello.
Oh yeah, can I tell them the funny accident?
Yes.
Gary asked if he could borrow. Gary had a big beard, and he asked if he could borrow my beard trimmer.
Yeah.
And I used it previously, and I put it right back down to the end because I always do. And then he went. He just shaved a big strip of his beard away, so now he had to shave the whole beard.
Oh my god.
He's bald.
Yes. So, Keith, you've been to lots of big festivals around the world. So, if you had an option to organize a festival here in Ireland, which 4 headliners you would have, except Cruachan?
Well, it's easy, isn't it? Terrion, straight away.
Yes.
Isn't festivals in Ireland a shit show? Like, first of all, like the insurance to put on a festival here is ridiculous. That's why we don't get the same festivals they have throughout Europe. The fucking insurance is scandalous. And the few small events that were coming, they're great, and I have respect to everyone that puts them on. But we'll never see a Hellfest in Ireland because the insurance is just
Baggin, Hellfest,
ridiculous. But if I could put on a festival and have my pick of bands,
4 headliners.
For headliners,
Four headliners. You have one Therion, 3 more.
Yeah, Terrion. Okay, Terrion. I'd have to get Skyclad.
Okay.
Just, I have to have Skyclad here. Rotten Christ, one of my favorite bands. Absolutely love them. Fucking
Yes.
Nick the Greek.
Yes.
Who else? Huh? Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Britney Spears. Now, she might say no. She might say no, but I would approach her. I'd say, Britney, I've got a proposal for you. And she'd be like, oh, Keith, I just want to play your festival. And she'd play. No, I wouldn't have her headline. I'd still have Tyrion and then Britney Spears about here. I went, when Britney Spears last played here, I fucking went to the concert.
No way.
Yep. And I went with my gay brother. Now, normally it's the gay brother asking the straight brother, Keith, will you come to Britney Spears with me? But it was the other way around. It was the straight brother asking Gary, will you come to Britney Spears with me? And he did. And I loved it. And I have no shame.
Yeah. Okay, nice. I've been only festival, no, I mean, except metal gigs or gigs, I've been to Pink.
I love Pink. She's fucking
Yeah.
awesome. She's like a harder Britney Spears, isn't she?
Yeah.
Like a Britney Spears that grew up in a slum.
That's my saying, Pink.
Nice.
Yes.
For me, it's jazz. I went to a jazz and pop festival. So yeah, there you go.
Which festivals?
It's in the Netherlands, Apple Pop. So it's free.
Yeah.
We have like big bands like Witting Temptation, but also like mainstream, like Miss Montreal, Davina Michelle. And well, and there are like things I don't want to listen because it's really simple music, but that's kind of that festival and it's free. It's amazing. So yeah, and we are talking about concert and festivals. So can you tell us your worst experience?
Oh my fucking God. Do we have 5 hours to go through this? I mean, anyone who knows Cruachan, if they're listening to this, they know exactly where I'm going.
I know. I think I know.
God. Now, there's a video on YouTube.
Yes.
But it's what happened to me. Well, okay, it's Carpathian Alliance. Now, the video I have on YouTube isn't as bad as the first time we went there. Oh man, like we when I think back to it, it's like we almost died. We flew in to Poland and we had like a 15-hour bus drive. And on the bus, it was fine. It was Cruachan, Corpaclani, and Eluetti. And it's like, we drank and we drank and we fucking drank.
Great lineup.
We drank and drank and drank and drank. Like, I remember the Corpaclani accordion player, fucking, I can't remember his name, vomits all over one of the chairs. And then, like, the singer, Yarko, sit into the vomit chair and goes asleep. We were just like, this is the most horrendous. But I mean, that wasn't the problem. The festival was good. It was up the hills in the Carpathian Mountains. Everything was fine. But the journey back to the airport was in like 36 degrees Celsius heat in a van with no windows. And it was 15 hours in that van sitting. It was just unbelievable. We were hallucinating. John Ryan remembers he sat in the front of the van because like, yay, shotgun. But he had the windscreen just burning him for the whole thing. We'd no windows. The driver would roll his window down this much and put it back up. At one point, we stripped off to our boxer shorts and we were still hallucinating. And we said, never again. Never again. You just fly us directly. The closest airport was an hour's drive, but to save money, they flew us fucking into Poland and drove us for 15 hours. It was a nightmare. I don't want to sound like a prima donna fucking, diva, but it was so bad. We said, we're never going to do it again. And then 4 years later, we did it again. And it was worse. It was worse beyond worse could be. And I made a video thing, and it's on my YouTube channel, Cruachan Keith. Check it out. And just look at Carpathian. Just do a search on my Cruachan Keith channel for Carpathian Alliance, and just watch that video. It is just madness. And there's stuff like we arrived at the venue or location at 2 a.m. and to get off the bus, and it was just darkness, some buildings, and nobody there. We're like, we're in the middle of the Carpathian Mountains here in a forest. Like, what do we do? The organizer didn't have anyone to meet us. It was us and Horna, the black metal band. Fucking lunatics. 15 hours in a van with Horna. It was almost fights. But they're grand guys. We actually had a great time with them. We got out of the van. There was nobody there, and we're like, "What the fuck do we do? Like, are we going to sleep in a field while there's bears and wolves prowling in the fucking Carpathian Mountains?" So we broke into a house. We smashed the lock and pushed the door open. So it turned out where the festival is, it was a kind of a Soviet ski resort. In the summer, it's spare. So the Ukrainian Olympic team were there training. And that's where all the fans were staying. So basically, we broke into a house because we were desperate. And it was just like some fans woke up and like, "Oh, are you Cruachan breaking into our room?" It was like, "Yeah, we've nowhere to stay." But then whoever we woke up managed to wake the organizer, and the organizer got out of bed and gave us somewhere to sleep. And it got just, and that's not on the video. It was the day after. I said, "I'm going to start recording this because it's just madness." So yeah. Carpathian Alliance was my worst experience. Bing!
That's a really like interesting story. If you just send us the video, we can put it to the group.
I will. Yeah, definitely.
To see it.
Very entertaining. It's great. We remember saying at the lowest point, John Ryan turned around to me and says, "Keith, in a few weeks we'll be at home in Ireland and we'll have a fantastic story to tell. Just think of that." And I was like, "Fuck off. I'm going to get eaten by fucking wolves."
So from the worst stuff we go, I think, to the best. Tell us the crack about the 70,000 tons of metal.
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be 70,000 tons of metal. It's the best metal. I'm like, we've played, like Brutal Assault is one of my favorite festivals. And I love that. We played it twice. It's just so cool. We played Hellfest when Black Sabbath played. We were backstage with Black Sabbath, Rammstein, you know, personal heroes of ours. Hellfest is incredible. But oh my fucking God, 70,000 tons of metal it's like the gold standard Nirvana fucking trophy wife of festivals. There's nothing compares to it. It's just so fucking good. And we've done it twice. Like, they actually got us back. And we did it this year. Like, so many bands have not played a show in 2020. We did 70,000 tons in January. So, yeah, it's amazing. You're just on a boat surrounded by bands that you like and the party mode. And we're all just one family, you know. It's great. And we did the Irish pub set. And man, oh man, that was so good.
Yeah.
And it was such a... We never did anything to that level before. We've done some acoustic shows, but we got the call for 70,000 tons 6 weeks before we set sail, and we were like, holy fucking shit, we've just committed to do 20 Irish ballads, and we haven't rehearsed a single one of them. And to go within 6 weeks from not rehearsing to what we did on the boat, and the reaction and the reception we got was phenomenal. And again, there's videos of that on YouTube. It was brilliant. And the amount of people singing along, like there's a mix of so many nationalities, but they all knew these Irish songs. And for me, I'm like, oh my God, I want to get up and sing the Irish national anthem. I was so proud. Everyone seems to know Irish ballads. It's insane.
Yeah, great video. I've seen that. So, what is your opinion about the metal scene here in Ireland?
We're into the generic questions now.
Yes.
What is your favorite color? The metal scene in Ireland, it's better. I think it's better now than it ever has been. But there's one defining factor I find in the Irish metal scene that has been there when I was 14 years old. My first metal band was Crypt. I was the vocalist in a band called Crypt. Really fucking experimental, way ahead of its time, death metal band, death thrash metal band. There's a few videos on YouTube, Crypt, CRYPT, check it out. I was 13. I think I joined when I was 12. The rest of the guys were 18 and 19. So I was doing my first gigs at 13 years of age. And from that moment till now, I still find there's a huge element of begrudgery. And it's a very Irish thing where people will resent you and begrudge you, and they'll come to your show. They'll pay to come to your show, and they'll just sit there like that, you know, hoping you'll fuck up on stage, or just resenting, being jealous, being petty. It's not so much there today as it was 27 years ago, 28 years ago when we started. It's definitely still there. But I mean, that's not so much the metal scene. That's a very Irish thing, and it's a cultural thing. We're like, oh, you know, oh, they're getting new windows in, bastards. Oh, he got a promotion. Oh, you bastard. You know, it's a thing that's always chastised and made fun of by comedians. Apart from that, there's some amazing bands, and there always has been. And they're kind of the amount of genres that we have now in the country is fantastic, and bands that are just doing their own things. Even when even to name bands, of course, Primordial are huge. Everyone knows them. But then you look at the likes of Dead Label. Like they seem to be almost just slightly aside from the metal scene, but still phenomenal, releasing albums, touring the world, that kind of thing. It's pretty and
different genre of metal.
Absolutely, yeah. So I don't know what you'd call it. Is it new metal or screamo or metalcore? I don't fucking know.
Hardcore, maybe metalcore, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be a fan, but I have total respect for what they do, and I think they're great to be doing that. But yeah, that's what I mean. Zora, that's another band that are doing fantastic. They're really nice people, good friends of ours. But they're flying the flag, getting around. So it's great to see that bands are being signed, getting record deals. Because when we started, that just did not happen to Irish bands. It just did not happen.
That's quite funny. I saw Zora at Waterford 2 years ago, and that was crazy because we had like the Metal Society in our university, so it was our Metal Society going to a gig. So there were only 5 people watching Zora, who just like did weird things with his microphone. He just wrapped it around his neck and was dancing on the table and almost fell to the ground. So.
I love it. And 5 people watching.
And someone who was drunk, like, you know, in Watford, it's allowed to bring alcohol to the gig. So yeah. you just bring, and there were like chairs. It's crazy. You have to go to Watford, how they do gigs.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it's totally different than Dublin. So about the crowd, what's the best crowd?
I think like we've toured Russia so many times that we almost called it our second home. That was back in, we've a strange relationship with Russia. Now we've been to Russia as what I call the resurgence, the last 10 years of Cruachan, where we're a much bigger band internationally. And being in Russia was just like being at any other festival. But back in the noughties, the Russia crowd was amazing. We were held in the highest esteem, and they were just so appreciative. They were so insane. And you just felt like you were a fucking rock star. You're like, you know, we would play Russia for a few days, come back home to Ireland, and we're nobodies again. And we'd all be depressed. It's like, but your boss is shouting at you like, but in Russia, I'm a rock star. Why are you shouting at me? Yeah, I think Russia is the best crowds we've ever played to.
It's like weird that like Irish people, like you say and mentioned, like they were not so with open arms to Cruachan, and like you're a rock star outside Ireland.
Yeah, but you know, we've been doing it so long. To us, it's just normal, which is why it seems so strange the last few years. We like people paying in Ireland to come see Cruachan. What kind of weird alternate reality is this?
Yeah, certainly.
So, Keith, favorite non-metal band or song? You told me about Britney Spears, but you know, apart from Britney Spears,
you know the band Skiltron from Argentina.
Yes,
Emilio from
a bit.
Like they're doing fantastic around the world. But Emilio bought me a Britney Spears album once in Dublin City.
Okay.
Bands, I don't know. I mean, I like so much music. You know, I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan. I know Britney Spears. There was one album that I liked. I haven't listened to it since the time of that gig, but I genuinely liked the album. That's why I wanted to go to the concert. But it was all the shit pop songs. Like Upside Did It Again. You know, it was a bit rough. But I love all Michael Jackson stuff. I love so many fucking bands. I love all the Dubliners, the Chieftains. But the guy I'm obsessed with at the moment and can't stop listening to is Ludovico Einaudi, the pianist. And I had tickets for him in March, and it was cancelled because of COVID-19. But yeah, I love. I mean, I love just regular classical music. But I do love modern contemporary. That the purists say, oh, that shit, but I love it. Ennio Morricone is another hero of mine. I love his music. Bands, what do I like bands that aren't metal? I'm sure I do. Gary, do I like bands? Gary,
Non-metal bands.
what bands do I like that aren't metal? I've just gone blank.
The Pogues.
The Pogues, yeah.
Pogues, okay.
Offspring, no doubt.
No doubt. No doubt. You know, there was a period in Cruachan's history where we broke up for a year in 1997. We got back together in 1998. But when we broke up in 97, we were half playing ska. Like, we were doing ska music. We did a No Doubt cover. We did Blur song too. We did a load of ska stuff. And we just went, oh, look, lads, this is shit. We went from Two Hundred Gale black metal and folk metal to this. We broke up. When we got back together in 98, one small part of that history remains on the Middle Kingdom album. If you listen to the song Unstabled, with the worst vocals I've ever done in my life, but if you listen to that song, the ska, you'll hear there's a little bit of ska music, and that's from that fucking crazy period that I never talk about. I've actually never spoke about that. I don't think, but here we are. Yeah, Cruachan, the ska years. What was a thing? How fucking insane is that?
So would you cover a song from Michael Jackson?
Oh, man.
Cruachan style.
I'd love to. I know the guys would just say, fuck you, Keith, because I've had some crazy ideas.
Which one?
I mean, Smooth Criminal was done by Alien Ant Farm, but I'd love to do a proper metal version of that.
Yeah.
Dirty Diana. Oh, man, imagine a fucking metal version. Imagine that on bagpipes. Oh, yeah, Dirty Diana, folk metal version.
Okay, great. Nice stuff we learned today.
Interesting stuff. And back to your career. So you have a career of 30 years. So any things you are proud of or you would do differently?
Ooh, that's a great question. Fuck. I mean, there's a lot that I'm very proud of. Just the creation of folk metal and being associated with that. Like, if you look at it, there was a book published. There's actually a book out there, The History of Folk Metal, by some Italian guy. And he mentions Cruachan, and we're the creators of folk metal. I think that's a huge legacy to have, and that I will leave behind for always. I'll be associated with the creation of a genre of music. I'm proud of the tours we did in Russia when no other Irish band was doing anything like that. We were touring countries before any of the bands, before Primordial were in South America, we were there. So it's great that we did that. And again, with the folk metal, like, I've actually got an email from, the singer from Eliwete. Can't remember his name.
Yeah.
What the fuck is his name? Christopher? Chris?
Kriegel.
Kriegel, Chris from Eliwete. Like, I have an email that I've saved where he's saying, "Hi, I'm Chris, and I have a band in Switzerland called Eliwete, and Cruachan are my biggest influences, and I'm a big fan, and I would like to send you my demo." And I think that's cool, but what's not cool is how they just became fucking the ultimate fucking Iron Maiden of folk metal while we were still languishing in the fucking in the mud. Like, what about us? And that's a regret that I have, because we all have regular careers. We could never pursue that level of fame that bands like Eliwete that dedicated their whole lives. They actually, some of those guys became homeless. They were sleeping in rehearsal rooms. They dedicated their lives to get to where they are. So I do regret that, but I can't really say I do. I mean, I have a great life. I have a great career. I've no financial worries, that kind of shit. When I look at other bands that always are worried, we need to tour, we need to do this, we need to tour to finance the album, we need to make an album to actually make tours happen, blah, blah, blah. I've never had that, but I do regret that we've never experienced that level of touring. Like 2 months in North America is a dream. And to have to turn that kind of stuff down is always a kick in the balls. I mean, I'm sure there are other regrets that I've spoke about in the past, but I can't really say. People would say when we turned down Century Media Records was a bad bad time for Cruachan. But when we turned them down, they immediately signed Waylander, and Waylander didn't work out. So I like to think it would have been the same for Cruachan. We made the right decision. But as for major regrets, I don't think I really have any. Hi, Gary.
Hi.
Different countries, different level of countries. Switzerland, Ireland, bigger country.
Yeah, are they bigger?
I think.
I think they're pretty much the same size and have the same population, but I could be wrong. What's the population of Switzerland?
Or maybe Agnos. Because
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, look.
he doesn't want to speak. So yeah.
So this is Christmas.
Hey,
No,
Gary.
I know you love Christmas.
And what have we done? I know.
Yeah.
A new one just begun. And so this is Christmas and a happy new year. Let's hope it's a good one without any fear.
And now Pogs.
You scumbag, you maggot, you cheap lousy faggot. Happy Christmas to your arse. Can't say that on the radio.
Yeah.
I'm not drunk. I sound like I'm drunk. This is only my second glass. This is just me. This is me on a normal day. Just
Yes, we know. So
Gary wants to say something.
yeah. Cheers.
he's just handing me bottles of wine. Why are you handing bottles?
Aspirin.
The aspirin. Any influences apart from Skyclad?
Yeah, Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. Good.
Influences. I mean, I'd never call Skyclad an influence, but they were definitely an inspiration. When I heard the Withershins jig, it was the kick in the balls that just was like, wow, this shit works. Inspiration, I'd have to say, okay, that sounds shitty about Skyclad. Skyclad were and are remarkable, and I love them, and I am a fan, as much a fan of Skyclad today as I was back then. And for me personally, to be playing on stage with Skyclad is and always has been a dream come true. But they were definitely very influential in forming Cruachan and what I went on to do. But influence-wise, where I felt like a strong influence to get Irish music melded into heavy metal and rock was the Horselips.
Okay.
And again, they pretty much did in the 1970s and the early 80s what we're doing now. They had Irish folk music mixed with like the heaviest music of the time, which was just kind of rock. But some of their stuff is fucking incredible. And they're great guys. I've connected with them over the years, and we're meant to be collaborating in some way or playing concerts together, but it never seemed to happen. Yeah, Horselips a very big influence.
Good band. Yeah, very good band.
They are. You always hear them in strip clubs.
Yeah.
You don't. I just said that for a laugh. I don't go to strip clubs.
Me too. Me neither.
I do.
Me. You do.
Oh, we were talking about this in the last virtual pub. We were all talking about playing South America, and we were in Santiago, and Pete from Ensiferum, Matthias from Fintro were talking about Santiago with the crazy, crazy place. And Cruachan's memory of Santiago is going to a place called Coffee and Legs, where it's a load of strippers that sell you coffee and just strip. And apparently, like, businessmen in Santiago go at 8 o'clock in the morning, get their coffee, see the boobs, like, oh, boobs. And then they go to work. It was fucking insane. It's like, what?
Coffee.
Yeah, drink your coffee. You're in there for 5 minutes while full-on stripping things take place. Oh, my God. So, yeah. Santiago is a great place. Like, heavy metal people outnumber every other type of people. It's mad. It's just a country of metalheads.
Great story.
Great story, like crazy.
Crazy stuff around the world.
Indeed. And I haven't even scratched the surface. I'm not drunk, honestly. The surface. I haven't scratched the surface. There's my mum. That's my mum.
Yep.
Hi, Mom.
Hi.
Hello.
That photo was taken at her last ever game of bingo, and she passed away 1 week after that photograph. So that's a very treasured photo beside the Terminator robot and a dragon and a vivarium with no lizards. And above the vivarium is loads of xenomorphs from Alien.
Interesting connection.
Just Keith's house. It's a bit of a madhouse here. Sláinte.
Slonza.
Slonza. Aspirin Slonza.
Aspirin. Is that the same drink, or have you got a new one?
No, it's the same one.
Oh my God, it'd be as hot as the sun. It's like lava in a glass.
Mm-hmm.
I will put some ice. It will be fine. So now we can go back to. We can dedicate now one question to Harry Potter. So you are a big Harry Potter fan. So can you show us Harry Potter?
Well, once upon a time, there was a boy who lived in a cupboard under the stairs in the Dursleys' house. Actually, I'll go one better. Yeah, I'm a big fan of movies and lots of kind of pop culture stuff. Lord of the Rings, Star Wars. I love Star Wars, but Harry Potter over the last kind of 10 years just clicked with me, and I don't know why. And my friends, it's something that people laugh at. It's like, oh, Harry Potter, you dope. I don't care. I love it. And I can clearly and distinctly remember when the first Lord of the Rings movie came out and the first Harry Potter movie came out, and the media and the press and the newspapers kept comparing them. And I'm like, stop comparing Lord of the Rings to that stupid kids movie, Harry bullshit Potter crap. And it frustrated me so much. I hated Harry Potter, and I hated that they were drawing a comparison between Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. It's shit. And then I remember my daughter Neve, when The Prisoner of Azkaban came out, I took her to the movies to see these shitty, stupid glasses movies. And I remember watching the first bit kind of going, this is actually really good. They look like Nazgul. But then there was some stupid kiddie parts. And I went, fuck this movie. And then over the years, just me and my daughter got into this routine of watching the movies as they came out. And suddenly I was hooked. I got the books, read the books, and was hooked. And I love how as the movies progressed and even the books, it got just that little bit darker and a little bit more serious. By the last movie, it's as far as I'm concerned, it's like an old Hammer horror movie. Everybody's being killed and it's crazy. So yeah, it clicked. And now I got really into collecting the books. I collect translations of the books from all over the world. I've got a huge collection at the moment, and I've got some of the super rare versions, first editions, you name it. Not in my house. I have one or two expensive books which I keep in I have one of those, what's it, You Store? No, it's not You Store It, it's Elephant Storage. Hi, I'm Rory from Elephant Storage. I have one of those things. I have a shitload of rare video games and books and stuff that I can't keep in my house, I keep there. So nobody will break in and steal my Harry Potter books.
And what rare of video games do you have then?
Oh my God, like I'm so into video games. Right now in my house is over 4,000 physical video games. Like my collection.
4,000?
Over 4,000. And it's ridiculous. I've got 600 and something PlayStation 2 games, for example. I just got really into collecting video games. I'm not a hoarder. I just love collecting. But I've been into video games all my life. Sorry, Nick, what was that?
Are you going to open a store?
When people go to my bedroom where I have them on display, it's like a video game shop. It's crazy. But yeah, I got into video games years ago with the Sega Master System, and then the love of my life was the Commodore Amiga, and Amiga is obviously Spanish for a female friend. It was a great name for a computer. All these little nerdy, single, geeky guys with their little computer as their girlfriends. And yeah, I got into console gaming much later in life. I always thought console gaming was for assholes and idiots, but turned out I was wrong. I love console gaming, and that's what I do most of my gaming on now. PC gaming I love, and I miss the days of the old school flight simulators, because modern flight sims are just not like they used to be. But right now I'm playing through Fallout 4, and my favorite game of all time is Elder Scrolls Oblivion. I fucking love that game. I love that game more than my life. That's not true. I love my life.
Thank you. Thank you. I was like feeling bad with my 200 games, but I can only think about you with so many games.
But that's what I started about 2 years ago. I started my own YouTube channel doing video games, showing off my collection and just having fun. And like it hasn't taken off or anything like that, but I love it. I love sitting in front of the computer, the camera rolling and saying, hi guys, let me show you a shit game that you've probably never heard of. It's another little passion of mine, video games.
And who is your hero then in the gaming industry?
Ooh. I'd have to go with fucking Romero. What's
John Romero.
John Romero, yeah. I mean, the creator of Doom, like
Doom.
He's such a hero.
Yeah, he's my hero as well.
Really? Awesome.
I have like Masters of Doom. So I read that book. I brought it to Ireland and I'm just waiting for the day he
No way.
come and call. And then I want that he signs the book. That would be so awesome.
Did you see in the news recently the thing about the Choctaw Indians in the United States? So
No.
During the Irish famine, the Choctaw Indians got together and they sent a small sum of money, but for them it was a huge sum of money, but they sent a small sum of money to help the Irish people suffering during the famine in 1740. Was it 1740, 1840? I've gone blank again. And then I think 3 weeks ago, that same tribe of Indians, I think they're expanded, slightly different name now, but it's the same group of Indians that sent that money to Ireland are now having major problems with COVID-19. A lot of people are dying and they don't have the money or the healthcare to take care of the Native Americans. So they set up a GoFundMe page. And from out of nowhere, the Indian guys that set this up were like, what the fuck is going on? They exceeded their goal of, say, $20,000. They exceeded it within a day. And half the donations were coming from Ireland. Ireland remembers. We remember. And the elders didn't know. They got onto the internet and like, holy shit. In 1740, our tribe supported Ireland. And here we are now in 2020, Ireland is supporting us. It was in all the news. I thought it was absolutely fascinating. But the reason I'm telling this story is on the Irish news at 6, they interview Native American. And that's all they said, John Romero. And I'm like, that's fucking John, because he lives in Galway in Ireland. So and he's speaking about the famine and what the Indians did. And I'm like, will somebody please acknowledge that's the guy that invented Doom from id Software? But yeah, just a Native American or something like that, or for whatever his tribe was, John Romero. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, do you guys know who this is? Yeah,
exactly. He's now like investing here in Ireland, like he's documentary, and I heard he was here to Comic-Con. It's fantastic. Like what?
Yeah. He's made his money, so fair play to him. He's just chilling and relaxing and drinking wine and murdering children.
So back to you. So
he's not murdering children. I made that up. Well, I don't know. He might be murdering children. I'm just saying I don't know if John Romero's murdering children or not. Maybe that should be investigated. Police, if you're listening, check out John Romero in Galway. He could be murdering children. I don't know.
So back to you. So you are organizing WizardCon, so you have your own thing. So can you tell us more about WizardCon?
Yeah, well, I'm one of the guys that work on WizardCon. Melissa Hayward and Martin McIver are the guys that organize it. But it's a Harry Potter convention. I got involved with it last year on the second edition, and the second edition was phenomenal compared to the first thing. Was just a passion project by Melissa. She loves Harry Potter. She said, oh, I'd love to set up my own Harry Potter convention. So I will. And she did. And it was brilliant. So she went much bigger into the RDS for the second one. And that's when I got involved. And it is just, it's a bunch of the biggest nerds you'll ever meet in your life, but the greatest people. And we all share the same passion. And we're all adults and loving Harry Potter. And the convention itself, you're just surrounded by people that have the same really specific love of an item, which is Harry Potter, and we're all just buzzing off each other. We put on a great show. Now, it was sold out both days. Everyone loved it. We had some amazing guest stars, guests that were in the movies. It's fantastic. So we were planning, the next edition was to be this month, obviously was cancelled. We postponed it to October 31st. hopefully it will happen again, just like the Cruachan Festival. We'll have to wait and see. But at the end of May, we're actually putting on a virtual WizardCon, and we've got super guest stars. We have the Potter collector who owns the biggest Harry Potter book collection on planet Earth. He will be in the Guinness Book of Records. We have some of the guest stars from the movies, and we're going to try, mainly for the kids at home that are bored and parents are trying to think of something to do. Melissa just thought, let's try do a virtual version of this over the weekend. And we were all like, yes, that's the fucking best idea. So yeah, I love it. We all dress up. I dressed up as Sirius Black last year, and it was phenomenal. Even the stories from that. There was an autistic teenager. He must have been 16 years old. So you're thinking he's a bit older, but he's suffering with autism, and basically he doesn't give a shit what people think. And he's like, fucking Harry Potter. And he's seen me as Sirius Black, and he ran towards me, and he just hugged me. And he was all, I can't remember, was he crying or not? But he was just so happy. He was like, Sirius, you're alive. You're alive. And his father was coming over to me like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I was like, it's fucking fine. Like, it's absolutely fine. I made his day. And it's those little experiences that just make it all worthwhile. Hi, Gary.
Hi again.
Again. Yeah, it's like a great initiative, especially for kids now who are bored at home and so on.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, we've been doing that a lot. I mean, a lot of people are trying to use a lot of initiative to do something during these crazy times. So that's what WizardCon is doing. But for me personally, I just love it. I look forward to it so much. It's such a passion of mine. Like, and that all my friends laugh at and go, ha ha, you like Harry Potter, ha ha.
So the next thing you do nowadays is the virtual pubs, which I love. and,
Virtual.
and now we drink more because you know, in the pub you have to go to the bar to wait.
Yeah.
Now you go to the fridge, you take your beer, you sit down.
Well, it's a funny story. So
Tell us.
if I was looking at all these bands putting on their virtual shows, and I'm like, we can't, Cruachan can't do that. So I went onto our Facebook page and said, guys, I'm sorry, we just don't have the ability to do something like this. And somebody mentioned on the Cruachan Facebook page, what about a Q&A with the fans? And I was like, oh, fuck, yeah, we could do that. And that's where it came from. The very first kind of get-together was just Cruachan. And that had a few thousand people come in and watch. Well, this is fucking amazing. Then we had a chat amongst ourselves, like, what if we expand this? We bring in, because we know a load of people in a lot of famous bands. Like some of our best friends are like Gaz and Ailstorm, for example. Like we see them as mates first, members of Ailstorm second. Like we've known them that long. We said, what if we start inviting some of these bands? So we did Cruachan virtual pub with Ailstorm, Skalmall, this, that, and the other. And we got Kim. Kim was great. We had to get Kim. First of all, she was the vocalist in Gwar. Like, that's legendary. But she's just a cool person, and she has a big connection with Cruachan now. So we got Kim, and we just had a laugh. On the first one that was scheduled for 2 hours, I think on hour number 4, we were like, okay, we're 4 hours at this, guys. Should we stop? We were all like, well, I've nothing else to be doing. So we kept going. It was 5.5 hours. And we thought it was great. And we said afterwards that this was just like a night in the pub. And all in the comments, like, guys, this is great. I'm here drinking. I feel like I'm drinking with you. I'm laughing, all the stories you're telling, the anecdotes. So we wanted to go bigger and better for the next one. And that was last week, 2 weeks ago. So we got some big hitters in the folk metal scene. We had this Matthias, the singer from Fintroll, Pete, the singer from Ensiferum. We'd got Tyr. We got Cryptopsy, like a huge death metal band. Borknagar. Like, oh my God. Lars Hedlund. I was like, I'm such a fan of his fucking vocals. Like, for me, that's when I went, oh my God, fanboy moment. And so we said and with that last one, we noticed the metal press are picking up on it. We're seeing it in metal websites across the world, like, oh, in these strange times when people are doing online this and all, like Cruachan have decided in true Irish style to open a virtual pub. And they're saying it's great. Like, okay, you have Cruachan, but the guests that are coming in and we're all drinking, amazing. So we said, we got to go bigger. So the next one is June 6th. And oh man, I still can't believe the guests that we got on it. So for me personally, one of the big ones, and I'll say it now, is Dimmu Borgir. Hang on, I'm gonna get the poster up. I'm gonna show you the poster in a world exclusive.
Great stuff.
I know, I'll show you afterwards. So
Okay.
actually, I'll go left to right. So we brought Garrett back from Ailstorm because
it's Ailstorm.
and we're going to bring people back. Already we've got Matthias wants to come back from Fintroll and so on. We've got Gear Bratland from Dimmu Borgir. Now, for me personally, as a Dimmu Borgir fan, I'm like, oh man, this is just insane. We've got, and I still can't believe this one, professional WWE wrestler Eric Rowan. So if anyone out there is into WWE, they'll know Eric Rowan. He's like a super pro wrestler. He's as big as they come. Like, we've got LaRage and Dante, the guitarist and drummer from Venom. I still can't believe that. Like, I've been a Venom fan all my fucking life, and already I'm thinking like, what the fuck? What am I going to say to these guys? This is insane. But they're lovely guys, the two of them. Then we've got Jakob from Monogarm. And last but not least, Kim is back again.
Of course.
So we're keeping it a bit smaller this time because the guest, getting the likes of Dimmu Borgir and Venom is pretty huge. Getting a pro wrestler from WWE. Now, the thing about Eric, anyone that's into WWE, they'll know he wears Creator t-shirts, Moon Sorrow t-shirts. He's a big, big metal fan. So we asked him and he was like, fucking hell yeah, I want to be part of that. So I can't believe it. The Cruachan virtual pub is like, where do we go? How do we top this? The only way to top this one is to get fucking Lars Ulrich or something from Metallica.
Yes, Metallica. Yes.
That would be interesting.
Oh, yeah, that would be very big. But you set timer for the virtual pubs or as long as it goes?
We set 2 hours. So on the last one with Fintroll and Instaferum, I said, guys, we've hit 2 hours. If you want to drop, leave the call, please do. But I'm happy to keep going. And everyone just kept going. So it was 3.5 hours was the last one.
No, I think that's the first one or the second one, like 5 hours.
5.5, yeah. Yeah. The one with Ailstorm and Skyclad was 5.5 hours. But it's great. And the response it's getting is brilliant because people know exactly what it is. It's just going to be a group of people talking. We take a Q&A. We throw questions out there, but they know in advance. Whereas a lot of the virtual festivals, people are logging on and are very disappointed. Some are very happy. It's the best that's there, but you can't create a festival on a laptop screen. Whereas a bunch of people talking shit, that's very easy to recreate.
I think you have to make a page.
Mm-hmm.
That would be helpful.
We could easily, but no, I never would. Not in these times when people are desperate for entertainment and something, and they've something to look forward to. We noticed in the comments on the last one, got nearly 1,500 comments, and we read through some of them, and people were saying, "Man, I'm looking forward to this. You're giving us something to look forward to. There's no way I would pay or make people pay."
Page. I mean to make a page, virtual pub page.
Oh, sorry. I thought you meant
no
pay.
No pay.
That's a good idea, Nick, actually. Yeah, we should. Sorry, I thought you meant
No problem.
fucking captain of industry, Nick, is like, you must charge the fucking peasants.
Yeah. No, page. You have to make a page.
That's a good idea, yes. Page, yes. Pay, no.
No.
Clear. So it's getting late. We have asked or DMG questions. So we are giving the microphone visually, so figuratively to the crowd. So we have a few questions from our viewers.
Okay.
So the first question is from Kieran Ball. What are your thoughts on the Ra? And he explained Ra is American alternative metal and post-grunge band from Los Angeles, California, taking their name from their Egyptian sun god Ra.
Gotcha. The only opinion I have on the Ra is up the Ra.
Good opinion. I hope Kieran is happy. So,
Yes, true.
question from Joe Farrell.
These are Cruachan members.
Yes. As Keith, did he ever have to draw a bird on himself to look old enough to gain entry to play a song?
That's true. When I was in that band I told you about, Crypt, when I was 12, my brother John would have to draw a beard and mustache because the bouncers, regardless of you being in the band, they would not allow you into the venue. So the rest of the band were all 18. They were fine. But my brother had to paint this elaborate mustache and beard so I could go in and I looked older. Yeah, that's a true story. That's a funny story. When I think back to that, holy shit.
Interesting. I can't imagine to draw a bird.
John is a good one.
He's an amazing artist.
Yes.
Oh my God. Yeah, he's incredible.
He's doing good stuff.
Yeah, totally. And actually, he's now actually focusing on his artwork. It only took him 40 something years, but he's actually focusing, getting shit out there, which is just like, finally.
So Marie Stoneberg is asking, did you guys ever play Japan?
No. And I have a shit story about this. This is a fucking nightmare of a story. So Skyclad played Japan with Skiltron in February this year, and they were worried with COVID-19 and shit. And that should have been us. So Emilio from Skiltron got in touch and asked, hey, I have an offer of a gig in Skyclad, or an offer of a gig in Japan. I'm not drunk. I've just called Japan Skyclad. We have an offer of a show in Japan. Are you interested? And I just said, well, this is our standard fee. Like, we do get paid for our shows. We don't do anything for free. And he went away and then came back. Oh yeah, your fee was a bit much. So I went ahead and got Skyclad instead, who'll do it for nothing. And I'm like, I would literally have done it for nothing. Come back to me and discuss this. So yeah, no, we almost played Japan this year, but we didn't. So hopefully next year.
Marie again. Marie is a big fan of Cruachan. Will you consider doing an all-acoustic pub songs set?
Yeah, definitely. Probably, like, we could support ourselves. The Cruachan balladeers supporting Cruachan. Yeah, it was such good fun. And, we did a good job. I listened back to the videos on YouTube, like, that's not fucking bad. Like, we sound as good as the shit that you'd hear in Temple Bar in Dublin City on a Saturday night. Like, yeah, I definitely want to do it again. And I think as I've got older, my voice has got a bit more that kind of ballad, gravelly voice. So yeah, definitely want to do that again.
And Kieran is asking again, and he is now the question: do you have a bad influence? Smiley.
I have a bad influence. No, I've only got good influences. No bad influences in my life.
Marie asking again, maybe a Celtic metal Christmas album?
Oh, that would be awful. No. No, the Horselips did that, I think. It kind of a Celtic Christmas, like that. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'll do that.
I love Christmas.
I love Christmas. I'm such
I love Christmas too.
It's my favorite time of the year. I just love it. When all my friends are being so cool and I'm an alpha male metal, I hate Christmas. I'm like, fuck you, jingle bells, snow, Santa. I love it.
Maybe a Keith single project Christmas one. Where you
There
do
you
your
go.
stuff.
There you go.
Yes.
That would be so cool. Amazing. And Marie is asking what about an album entirely in Gaelic?
No. Like, a lot of people ask us that, and in the early days we wrote some small bits in Gaelic. I'm not a Gaelic speaker. I can write it, and I have what I learned in school. Funny, my youngest daughter is fluent. She's a fluent Irish speaker. but I want to write in English so as many people as possible can read the lyrics. I'm very proud of my language. I love Gaelic. I love how it sounds. It's a beautiful musical language. But for Cruachan, I want to keep it in English so people can actually read what I'm talking about.
I wanted to ask this, you speak fluently Gaelic, eh?
No, not at all. I could speak a small bit, but my daughter is fluent.
Yeah? Oh.
She went to an Irish school,
Yeah.
so she was educated properly. In Ireland, when you learn Irish in school, it's not taught correctly. It's a big contentious thing in the country that we don't learn Irish properly, which sucks. We should. I wish it was our national language that we spoke it first and English second, like the Netherlands, like India. You know, everyone speaks English in these countries, but they have their main language as well. I wish Ireland was like that.
Ag, can you tell us about Netherlands?
Yeah, so for us, well, I have to say we have another language in Netherlands, Fries, and it's
Course,
totally different
Yeah.
than Dutch, and they learn it there, and you don't understand them, so it's very weird. And then we have Dutch, but the problem, like the thing is in the Netherlands, because we are very like sales oriented, we have like traveled like during the like 1700 we were with the fog ships and so on. So if you look at the history, we were doing like trade and so on, and then you have to know English, and that's the reason I think we learn English at school to have better opportunities.
Yeah.
And I had like English, but like my sister, who is like 8 years older, have even a higher level on English because it gives more opportunities, I think. So yeah.
Well, I am very interested in history, as you know. I love World War II history, and I love reading the anecdotes of when the Allies were in the Netherlands, and they were just like, "Holy shit! Everyone speaks English here. This is absolutely insane." They had such a good time when it was liberation and this kind of shit that the entire population of the Netherlands were just speaking fluent English to the American soldiers and stuff. I think that's fascinating. There's some hilarious anecdotes I've read over the years of how they, in American troopers, like, "Hello, can you tell us, have you seen paratroopers?" And the guy from the Netherlands spoke better English than the bloody, the American GI from the deep south, that type of thing. Very funny.
Yeah, indeed.
Arcadi is asking Keith, what about covering computer games soundtracks?
I've been offered that in the past. I would love to, but I always find when I set up kind of side projects like The Catch, these funny little things, or if I'm working with someone else, whenever I come up with a piece of music and I think it's great, I'm like, oh that's Cruachan. So if I was composing something for a computer game, like with a contract where I'm earning money, if it was really good, I'd be like, oh, I'll keep that for Cruachan. Then I go compose something else. Oh shit, that's good. I'll keep that for Cruachan. I find it hard to do stuff that's not for Cruachan. But yeah, I'd love to get involved in some way. But yeah, I was offered in the past, but it never worked out. Sure, it's meant to be. I was a voice actor in a video game that was coming out. Oh my God, this is a huge story. If anyone's interested, just Google, what's it called?
I think I've read some.
Yeah, it was a big story in a lot of media.
I know.
Because they released a game called Kill the Faggot. Kill the Faggot. It was the most anti-gay, homophobic game in the world, and I was associated with it. So people were like, "Hey, you're involved with this video game," and I obviously stated my case, cut off all my ties, to the point that the biggest gay and lesbian, the biggest LGBT magazine on planet Earth, The Advocate, wrote a story about me saying, and like if you Google it, you'll see like how, despite the tough guy exterior, Keith Fay has a soft spot for the LGBT community. Fascinating, like absolutely fascinating. But on the other hand, I was also pissed off. There was my opportunity to be in a game that was going to be as big as Oblivion. I was an NPC. I was doing all the voice kind of shit. Like I was gutted that this asshole went. It was meant to be you'd find this bullshit, stupid games all over the place, and you'd like in Fallout 4, and you just slot it into your Pip-Boy and you can play it. And one of them was Kill the Faggot. Very controversial. Absolutely disgusting.
Yes.
But he decided to release it as a standalone game on Steam, and that's when the shit hit the fan because it's just awful. Like it really is.
I was reading yesterday about that.
Are you serious? Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes.
What a crazy fucking time! Like, oh my god, my Twitter and my Facebook just blew up. People saying, "How can you support this game?" Well, I don't fucking support it. Like, first I was like, "What's happening?" I didn't know about it. Yeah, crazy. So many fucking crazy things have happened over the years.
Yeah.
No wonder I drink. I don't drink. I don't have a drink problem. This is still this is the bottle of wine that I opened. That's all that's gone.
Okay. Not
Okay.
bad. Not bad. Not bad.
Okay. There isn't like 2 empty bottles just here. There isn't. There isn't.
Well, interesting story, like something we can again search it up and post it to the group, like more to read it for people.
It's funny.
So-
I feel like we're only getting started, but it is quite late.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm on a Cruachan virtual pub, like we're just about to get started now. Boom, boom.
So there are we have the last questions. So if someone has like burning questions, ask them now, as we have 3 last questions. So Joe Farrell is asking about the train being stolen in Russia.
This is a big story. Okay, I'm going to try sum this up as quick as possible.
Yes.
So we're on a train going from, I think, Pskov to Moscow. I don't know where we were going. It was a night train in Russia, and we were very, very drunk, very, very drunk. And in our cabin, to the left we had a lot of Russian soldiers, and to the right we had a pregnant woman and friend. And we were loud and we were noisy. We weren't fucking that bad, but we were loud. So the train stopped, and our cabin door was pulled open, and 2 Russian police with AK-47s just stuck them into our cabin. We were like, oh my fucking God, like fucking assault rifle, armor-piercing assault rifle is being fucking held in your face. Well, what the fuck? So our tour manager goes out, has a chat with the police. This all took a bit of time. The train was stopped, and yeah, then they left. And the train took off again. That's what happened. When I tell this story, what the train being stolen happened here. But no, we did continue for a little bit, but we stopped again, and I can't remember what the reason was. But word began to come around the train that the engine part, the locomotive, the front, is gone. It's been stolen. And as it happens, the engine was stolen by Russian bandits, and we were stranded in the middle of nowhere. And I always ask, like, where can they possibly go? They're on a fucking train track. They can only go that direction, but it was stolen. And for years, this became a kind of almost like a mythical story in Cruachan. Like, did that really happen? Is this real? But as it turns out, I've been making videos of Cruachan on tour for fucking years. And only recently, I discovered my camcorder, and the footage is all on it. You see me walking up to the front of the train, and I look out the passenger cabin, and it's just the Russian wilderness. So yeah, we had AK-47 stuck in our face. The engine of the train was stolen. We had to wait 3 hours for a new one to come back. And when we were in the airport days later on the way home, we asked our tour manager, what did you say to the police? Did you give them money to get them away? And he said, no. I explained, my boss, Alexei, he is great man. Alexei, whatever the fuck. So it was like, oh, okay. So a Russian mafia boss is bankrolling the Cruachan tour of Russia. So when he said to the police who this guy was, who his boss was, the police were like, oh, no problem. Yeah, we've had some fucking mad adventures. We need to write a book about the shit that we've gone through. It's like insane.
You have a lot of funny stories in Russia.
Yeah, I know, right?
So next question is Ian McWilliams. If Cruachan could feature a song on one old film, one new film, which ones you would choose?
Which song or which film?
Which film, old and new?
Oh, Jesus. I mean, I'd love to be associated with the Braveheart soundtrack because it's such a great movie. I know it's historically inaccurate, blah, 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 but who cares? It's a great movie. Modern times. Ugh. Oh, I don't know. Harry Potter.
I can
There you go.
I can find my choice like Brave. It like fits perfectly fine in the setting you are like.
And we've a lot of songs in Cruachan that have no electric guitars. They're pure folk, and they would fit in soundtracks of movies perfectly.
So Marie Stoneberg is asking about World War history. How about a collaboration with Sabaton for a song?
Nice.
Funny. Yeah, that'd be interesting. We actually shared a bus with Sabaton in Ukraine. And I remember kind of going, who the fuck are these guys? Thinking they're just a shitty small band. And over the years, they've just, but yeah, they're fun. But no.
Not your style.
Nah, not my style at all. I don't like them. They're nice guys though, but I'm not a fan of their music.
Cool.
They murder children, I heard.
John Ryan.
He murders children.
Asking, what's the capital of Burkina Faso?
He's testing your memory.
Yes, maybe.
Oh shit!
Have you been there?
No, but we do these kind of things when we're on tour. Oh,
Geographical.
is it? No, it's not Djibouti, is it?
Don't
That's Djibouti is a country.
Yeah.
I don't know, like
Hey Siri, what is the capital of Burkina Faso? Ouagadougou. Okay, Ouagadougou. I would never have known that.
me neither. So
Who knows?
so we are finished with the viewers' questions. So this was the last one. So to wrap it up, what will you do? The first thing, what you are going to do after all the restrictions are lifted?
We all know the answer to this. Go to the fucking pub.
Get drunk?
Get drunk in a pub. Oh, yeah. I miss pubs. I miss rehearsals. I miss pubs. And yeah, it's shit. I mean, life is going to be changed. It's funny. My life after this will be changed. Like I used to have this tradition. My mum passed away last year, but I'd still go to my dad's every weekend. And he passed away 2 weeks ago. And like I know when we get out of this lockdown, the normal that I had with my kids every Saturday, we go see my dad. We go see my mom's not there. You're still going to see your granddad. That's stopped. That's gone forever. So even my life is changed dramatically after COVID-19. But yeah, the biggest thing I'm doing is fucking hitting a pub. I'm literally going to just puke all over myself and just fall into a fucking corner, and they'll need to ring the police to get me out of there. I can't wait.
So
awesome.
if I will see Keith somewhere in a pub, I'm going to run away so he doesn't pick over me.
I'll chase you in a stream of vomit.
Amazing.
Yes.
I'm not scared.
It will be the new normal after all this.
Vomit will be the new normal.
New normal, yeah. I think we'll not be the same until the vaccine. I don't know, whatever. We have something to.
Yeah, hopefully there was some good news today that the vaccine actually is working, but it's going to be months before. But for the first time, it's worked, which is great. Hi. Do you want to come and say? My daughter wants to come and say hello before we go.
Yes.
We're just finishing now, so you need to come in. Here's my daughter, Neve. She's an amazing artist.
Gary again.
Hello. Hello. How are you?
Hi.
Yeah, I met her in Brussels.
Yes, you did.
Thank you, Keith, for tonight, for joining us, telling your stories, sharing your history with Cruachan, and also thank you for the viewers who have been here participating with questions. And any finishing words, Keith?
No.
Thank you, Keith. Thanks for the time. It was very good.
Cheers, guys. Thanks. It was great. Great fun. Thanks for everything.
Yes.
No worries.
Goodbye.
So if the viewers liked it, so see you, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can watch it in 2 weeks' time.
Subscribe to Dublin Metal Gatherings, everybody. That's an order.
And follow Virtual Pub.
And follow the virtual pub. And check it out on the 6th of June. It's insane.
Make the page.
I gotta make the page. No, I'm not making them pay. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.